The alien dragon had watched civilizations rise and burn before humanity learned how to carve fire from stone. It had seen suns collapse into themselves and newborn worlds tear free from stellar dust. Pain, fear, and death were familiar concepts to it, necessary forces that shaped existence. And so, when the human girl screamed, the dragon did not intervene. Her name was Mara Elwyn, and she was 17 standard years old when the Coalition transport was torn apart above the molten world of Keros 9. The planet was forbidden territory, claimed by the Drakaryn, a species the rest of the galaxy simplified into one word: dragons. Vast, ancient, winged beings of scale and starfire who ruled entire systems through terror and myth. Mara had not been a soldier. She was a colonial archivist's daughter, traveling with a relief convoy after a fringe rebellion. When the transport fell from orbit, its hull screaming as atmosphere ate it alive, Mara survived only because fate, or something older, decided she should. She crawled from the wreckage with burned hands and lungs full of ash. The air itself seemed to hate her, heavy with metallic heat. Around her lay twisted alloy and the bodies of strangers. Her father was among them, his eyes staring at a sky stained red by volcanic clouds. Mara did not cry long. Grief had no time to bloom on Keros 9. The Drakaryn found her within hours. It descended from the clouds like a living constellation, its scales reflecting magma glow and starlight at once. Its wings folded with the sound of continents shifting. The ground cracked beneath its weight. This one was called Veilthrix, a watcher of the old accord, tasked with observing lesser species and ensuring none threatened Drakaryn dominion. Veilthrix saw the girl kneeling beside the wreckage, her skin blistered, her breathing ragged. It tasted her fear on the thermal currents. A human, fragile, short-lived, insignificant. By law older than empires, Veilthrix was forbidden from interfering unless a species posed a future threat. One human girl posed none. So the dragon watched. The planet itself became her tormentor. Nights dropped to freezing extremes. Days scorched flesh. Predatory fauna circled, drawn by blood and weakness. Mara learned pain in layers. Hunger, dehydration, infection. She scavenged scraps from the wreck, fashioned crude shelter from torn plating, and burned her hands again and again trying to signal orbit that would never answer. Veilthrix observed it all from the high thermals. It noted something unusual. Humans were not supposed to last this long. Mara should have died within days. Instead, she adapted. She learned the movement patterns of the land beasts. She used volcanic ash to filter toxins from water. She endured fevers that would have killed most species twice her size. When her leg became infected from a jagged wound, she screamed through the night while cutting dead flesh away with heated metal. The dragon listened to those screams. They were not pleas for mercy. They were declarations of defiance. Weeks passed. Mara's body grew thinner, harder. Her eyes changed first, no longer wide with terror but sharp, calculating. She spoke aloud sometimes, to her father's memory, to the stars, to herself. She promised survival like a vow carved into bone. Veilthrix began to feel something it had not felt in millennia. Unease. According to Drakaryn doctrine, suffering refined or destroyed did not transform. Yet the human girl was changing, not physically but fundamentally. Her neural activity, visible through subtle bioradiance, grew denser. Her pain responses dulled. Her will intensified. Then the storms came. Keros 9's tectonic cycles triggered a planetary firestorm, a phenomenon so violent even the Drakaryn avoided direct exposure. Veilthrix retreated to high orbit to observe. Mara had nowhere to go. The winds flayed her shelter apart. Acid rain burned her skin. Lightning struck close enough to shatter rock. By all predictive models, this was the end. Veilthrix watched her crawl into the open, stand unsteadily against the storm, and scream, not in fear but in fury. She raised her arms to the sky as if daring the universe itself to finish the job. Something answered. It was not rescue. It was not salvation. It was awakening. Deep within Mara's mind, ancient genetic locks, dormant across all of humanity, shattered. The Drakaryn had never known. No one had. Long ago, before recorded history, humanity's ancestors had been shaped by forces beyond this galaxy. Not warriors. Not gods. Survivors. Mara's pain crossed a threshold that no simulation accounted for. Her consciousness expanded inward, touching structures in her biology older than Earth. Neural pathways rewired themselves in moments. Cellular matrices reconfigured, fueled by stress and bioelectric overload. Veilthrix felt it. A pulse rippled through subspace. Faint but unmistakable. The storm parted. When the clouds cleared, the human girl was gone. In her place stood something else. Mara's body remained human in shape, but her presence distorted the air. Her skin bore faint luminescent patterns like fractured starlight beneath flesh. Her eyes glowed, not with fire but with depth, as if entire nightscapes resided within them. She looked up, directly at Veilthrix. The dragon recoiled. For the first time in its existence, a Drakaryn felt seen. Veilthrix descended cautiously, every instinct screaming danger. Its voice rumbled across the plain, ancient and commanding. "You should not exist," it said. Mara tilted her head, studying the massive being with calm curiosity. "I shouldn't have survived," she replied. Her voice carried layered resonance now, echoing strangely. "But you let me suffer." Veilthrix felt something close to shame, an emotion it had long believed beneath it. "What are you?" the dragon demanded. Mara smiled faintly, not kindly. "I'm what happens when humanity is pushed past extinction limits," she said. "You watched because you thought pain would break me. Didn't. It taught me." She raised one hand. The volcanic ground crystallized beneath her feet, atoms aligning under a force Veilthrix could barely comprehend. Not magic. Not technology. Adaptation. Across the stars, sensors flared. Ancient satellites, forgotten relics of precursor races, reactivated at once. Signals echoed through deep space. Humanity had awakened. Veilthrix withdrew, wings shaking. "You are a threat," it said, voice no longer certain. "The Accord." "The Accord was written by species afraid of change," Mara interrupted. "Tell them this instead." She stepped forward and space bent. "Humans will endure anything. And when we do, we don't remain what we were." Veilthrix fled. Not in defeat but in terror. Years later, across coalition space, stories spread of worlds where impossible humans appeared, survivors of disasters that should have erased them. Humans who could reshape probability, endure vacuum, resist psychic domination. Humanity did not conquer the stars with fleets. They adapted into them. As for Mara, she did not rule. She did not seek worship. She stood watch at the edge of known space, where ancient threats slept, ensuring no one would ever again mistake human suffering for weakness. And among the Drakaryn, Veilthrix's warning became a whispered law. Never let a human suffer without end. Because when they survive it, what replaces them terrifies the stars.